So is property management right for you, or should you just manage your property yourself? Hey, what's up? This is Ed with Capstone Realty Professionals. I'm coming at you on this Friday, the 3rd of February. Hey, I wanted to put this out because this week I asked this question and put this blog post on our website from our friends over at Chat GPT. Ding! Yeah, hey, they were the ones who helped us out this week with this idea. So I've been asking it questions, while it hasn't been down over the last couple of weeks. It seems like it's like down every other day. But I asked it a question this week, and it was like, hey, why should somebody use a property manager versus managing it themselves? Or actually, it was the opposite. Why should I manage my property myself versus giving it to a property manager? And it came up with 4 reasons, and I thought they were all good. So I wanted to share them, but I also wanted to talk through them for a quick minute to dissect it for just a second. All right. So number 1, they talk about cost savings. And yes, property management does cost something. I think, when somebody wants to get into managing their property themselves, understanding what their cost is, what the value of their time is super, super, super important in knowing what's the cost of a property manager versus handling it yourself. So yes, that could definitely be a reason why to manage the property yourself. Number 2, control. You want to control that asset. You want to control what's happening with it. You want to control the rents. You want to control who you put into the property. As a property management company, we have rules that we follow, that we have to follow. And as a single owner, you don't have to follow some of the rules that we do, even to the point of filing TPT taxes. Oh my gosh, Julie's doing that this week, and I just saw the stack of the first round on her desk, and it was like this. It's like, oh my gosh, good luck with that. But let me tell you, that's, as an owner, a lot of times you don't even have to file the TPT taxes, or at least you didn't used to have to. All right, let's see. Personal involvement, number 3. So personally, you want to be involved in the day-to-day of this property. Maybe it is something where it's helping you trend the market. It's helping you see what's happening, staying fresh, staying fluid. You could do that, which sounds great. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like wherever you get your data from is where you get it. If the market's slowing down, I don't want to feel it in a property before I know that that's happening. So hence the reason why we give you guys so much data as we do, because I want to ensure that we know what's happening before it does, or as it's happening. Number 4, knowledge and experience. So maybe you have the experience and you can handle it yourself. I think that's definitely a good option. I absolutely agree. And for those of you that have started with us from the time when you started with your first property, you know that, realistically, I encourage most people, if not all, and like most, the high luxury stuff, the things with the more moving parts, I don't suggest it. But if you've got some assets that are, you're tempting yourself as to what you should do with them, manage it yourself, see what happens. That's how I got my start, right? Managing a property, seeing what the issues were, what the challenges were. It helped me value more the time and the cost of management for myself. I pay Capstone. Like, I legit, off of what I have Capstone managing, I pay every month into the system. Just because I'm the owner doesn't mean that I'm going to take from the business in order to profit on that end. I do pay, and to me, it's worth every flippin' penny because I don't touch anything. I do not want to. I will break it. I break the process. I break the system. I know this about myself. As an owner, I get too involved. If I want this to work, I need it to be out of my hands. I learned that a long time ago. And let me tell you, if I ever deviate from that, it changes everything. It totally does. I'll give you a quick example. So I've got a house that was a house that I built. Arguably, it's my first family home. We rented it out. It was I love the neighbors. I love the neighborhood. I love so many things about it. have so many great memories. So every time, after the first tenant was put in there, I went back and was there showing my kids, like, hey, this was a house, seeing if they remembered, right? Because my daughter was born in this house. Like, it was super, super important. And I'm there in the garage. The garage is open. It's already being marketed. Somebody drives up. They're like asking me questions. Of course, I'm going to answer them. They don't quite know that I'm the owner, but I give them my name. We talk through everything. Person applies. Awesome. And yeah, and that made it very hard for my team. After that particular tenant knew who I was, tried to circumvent the process over and over and over again, because now they know me personally, and they think that because they know me, it's going to make the process easier and better to get what they want in different situations. And it's like, it's not the way it works. Like, it doesn't help anything. And that's where I broke the process, right? If I break the process, then my team suffers, tenant suffers, I suffer. It just wasn't a good experience. So I've learned from that and others. And that's why I think in this situation, hands off is a better approach and not having to worry so much about it. So I think with all of these things, it comes down to, of course, the cost savings, again, as a recap, the control, the personal involvement, and the knowledge and experience. From all of those things, management arguably is going to cost. You do lose control as an owner when you give it over to a property management company, 100%. However, the relationships that are there should make that so much easier. I trust the team here. So when I have questions, when I have challenges, like I hit them up and say, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? And they're super straightforward with what's happening because I know them. I know, okay, yeah, all right, let's get this figured out. And then it's off our plates, right? It's something that I know it's getting taken care of. So awesome. Well, cool. I hope this information is helpful. I think one last piece of this is the lease part of it. What happens with the lease only? Like, let's say you want us to lease the property only, which we'll do, instead of and not manage it. So a couple things. And one of the things I think is most important is when we first got started, we learned a lot, as you can imagine. Like, there's a pretty quick learning curve in property management as you accumulate doors under management. And for the longest time, we had an addendum that we would include in all of our leases and in all of our management agreements. There was just this monster addendum. It ended up being like 9 pages of additional information to the standard AAR lease that we would provide to our tenants. AAR is a Arizona Association of Realtors, right? So they put out this boilerplate lease that we used to use. And then from all of our experience, we tack on this monster addendum that really is the nuts and bolts of our management, the things we've learned, the things that we want the owners and tenants to do and not do, and where we will step in and where we want, like all these pieces. And what we ended up finding out was that, over time, we can't, if we're going to take on management from another company or an owner, it's really tough for us to navigate their lease and offer exceptional management, right? Because now we're working with a lease that we don't know all the terms. We don't know, the ins and outs. Unless it's an AAR boilerplate template, we don't know what anybody is obligated to, whether it be the owner or the tenant. So when we do the lease onlys, we put them on the standard forms, the standardized AAR forms. Our management, we do under our leases. And our leases, again, have more information in them. They're completely rewritten. We've had, multiple years of attorneys review them. And now, as we continually, I think we'll do an update like once every year or two. But I'll give you an example. Like, as a new investor, you might question why we'd want to include a buyout for a tenant in a lease. And it's like very valid question, right? However, in all of our leases, we offer a buyout. That buyout is a win-win. We've seen it work. We over and over again. It's a much better scenario than we would, see on another side. And yeah, we started doing this a long time ago, and it's helped tremendously, right? It gives people options, and at the end of the day, everybody wins, right? Now, you're a new investor and you're going, well, wait a minute. I thought I could, pursue these people for these tenants for the rest of what's on their lease. And it's like, okay, you got options, but at the end of the day, like, what makes the most sense, right? For us on the management side, we just want to get that property refilled. I want that property back in as clean as possible, and I want the tenants taking care of it on the way out the door. I want everybody feeling good on the way out the door, and it's an option, right? It's something that we include in that. So again, lease onlys, yes, we do it. It's something that we will do consistently. But again, what lease are we writing it on? And is that your lease? Is that our lease? How does that work? From a management standpoint side of things, we make our management pricing exceptionally affordable when it comes to the lease and management, for the reason of I want to make sure that our owners are invested long-term and they want their property long-term. If you get into a situation where you're using a company like us for leasing and then unfortunately the management gives you a bad taste in your mouth, which happens a lot, you're doing it yourself, there's a lot of work, there's a lot that goes into it. Shoot, it deters you from wanting to carry that property a very long time. Now you no longer have that property as an investment, and it's changed your whole narrative on as whether or not that property is going to be good for you, right? Through management, I know that you're going to keep the property longer, or at least in our opinion, we see people keep the properties a very long time versus those where they're lease onlys. They're often letting us know that sales is imminent. So again, I want people to be fully vested. I fully believe in the property management model, carrying assets, carrying these properties for a very long time, creating wealth from them. It works, right? But it's not for everybody. Management's not for everybody. But I think at the end of the day, like, I believe in what we're doing here, and I believe that you believe in what we're doing as well. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you would like to see something particular on one of these videos, please let me know. Always looking for great topics, always looking for people that, have an opinion that I can share and jump on, like Chat GPT, whereas, something a little more personalized would be interesting in the future. We'll talk through that, see what happens. But thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around.